10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to your weekly video forecast for the week beginning the 27th of October 2014. I forgot what I was going to start with, so let's just give it a moment. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to your weekly video forecast for the week beginning the 27th of October 2014. So who is the one being that you spend the longest amount of time with? Now, I know you're thinking that it may be your partner, I know you're thinking it may be your children, but if you look more deeply, you're actually going to discover that it's yourself, your soul. You spend more time with your soul in this lifetime than with anybody else. And if you believe in reincarnation or the evolutionary journey of the soul, then it only stands to reason that you will spend a longer time over eternity with your soul than with any other entity. So it would be in your best interest to be really good friends with your soul, wouldn't it? And you would also think, with that being the case, that you would know yourself more than anybody else would. And that's true to a certain extent. But do you know yourself completely? No, you don't. And there's always a chance to get to know yourself more deeply. I'm saying that because we start this week off and deepen this energy as well with aspects that bear the tone of self-delusion. Thinking that things are one way in your life, but actually they are quite different. And that takes you on a process of self-discovery, one that helps you to recognize that something that you thought was your responsibility or something that you thought was your burden is not really your burden to shoulder. Early in the week, we have two aspects from the Sun and Venus, respectively, to Neptune. Let's talk about Neptune, which is in Pisces right now, and it's also in a section of Pisces called the lunar mansion of Ashadha. We've spoken about this in previous videos because Neptune's going to be there for quite a while. The purpose of Ashadha is to somewhat obscure things. This is one of its purposes, the main purpose, to obscure things so that we quest in search of deeper information and go on a process of self-discovery. And it tends to do this by bringing calamity, chaos, or just some sort of healing crisis in our life. Through the resolution of that healing crisis, we come to a deeper understanding. It should be noted that whenever you have the Sun and Venus in close proximity to each other, there is the potential for pride or issues with pride. And both the Sun and Venus are in a section of Scorpio that is called Swati. Swati is very restless and independent energy. It wants to break free of the framework which it senses is restricting it. So there's that desire, very creative energy that wants to break free and free itself from a situation, whatever that situation might be. That's determined by where this is happening in your chart, of course, right? And the way that that's impacting this energy with Ashadha is you go on a quest due to that urge, which brings you into contact with a healing crisis. And we're going to discover what that does over the course of the week. But that's the preliminary energy, is wanting to burst free of a framework, right? But something is not quite as it seems, and there's a drama that ensues, a healing crisis that is created, that carries you on the process of deeper self-discovery. Now, later on in the week, we have a minor aspect, but I use that word guardedly, because in this case, minor aspect really only means that the impact of this aspect lasts for about a day or so. But nonetheless, it's a very powerful aspect, because it's a sesquiquadrate. If you know your astrology, sesquiquadrates are like a square and a half. If you don't know your astrology, a square is a tense angle between two planets that creates tension or a challenge between those energies. A semi-square is half of a square. It too relates to tension. So what a sesquiquadrate is a square and a half, and it's very explosive energy. And this happens between Mercury and Neptune. Mercury is in Libra, trying to establish a greater balance, and it's in the lunar mansion of Chitra. Chitra, in this instance, is going to relate to something that we think is our responsibility. Chitra's very nature relates to the concept of what's right for the heart, what's right for your ethics, what is your responsibility. And in addition to that, it also has a tone when it's functioning in its more negative polarity of alluring one in a certain direction that is somewhat out of alignment with who you are, so that you come back to center. And that's how it's going to be functioning more in connection with this Neptunian energy. So again, this is the concept I was talking about at the beginning of thinking that something is your responsibility. A crisis, a drama ensues. And through this drama, you come to an understanding that this actually isn't your burden to carry and that you don't have to carry it anymore. And it's at that moment that that energy that wants to burst free of the creative framework stands a chance to actually do so. Because you discover that it was actually you that held the key to the gate that was holding you behind bars, and you have the choice to open that gate and to walk out of the self-created prison that you've created. Whether you do so or not, that's obviously your own choice. Following on the tail end of this aspect, you've also got another aspect from Mercury to Jupiter. And this is saying to me, because Jupiter is in Maga, the lunar mansion of Maga, and the sign of Leo. This relates to dignity, strength, power, dignity, knowing oneself. So on the tail end of this crisis and the tail end of this realization and a humiliating, I mean humiliating in a positive sense, being humble and taking a look at something. Through taking a look in humility at something that actually isn't your responsibility, you grow in strength. You become more powerful. Supporting this is the fact that Venus, again in Swati and Scorpio, forms a harmonious angle with Pluto in Capricorn and Purva Ashadha. Now, Purva Ashadha is also ruled by Venus. So this is very powerful because Venus is in Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. And in addition to that, Pluto is in Purva Ashadha, which is ruled by Venus. Okay, so you take this energy, and that's very, very, very powerful. Touching on that a little more deeply, because we didn't go into depth with that. Purva Ashadha tends to peel away the layers of the ego that keep you from seeing yourself in a truer and clearer light. Pluto tends to have a no-holds-barred approach, so it's going to make things somewhat challenging or difficult until you take a look. And it's going to present the truth to you in a very powerful fashion without, glossing it over with sugarcoating or anything like that. It's just going to say, here it is. So you have the situation that's somewhat humiliating, but you recognize something, which then gives you power. Because the other thing that Pluto does is it bestows power after it takes us on that journey through our own vulnerabilities. Just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I was saying Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Using the Vedic system, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, but you can also use Pluto as a co-ruler of Scorpio as well. Mars, speaking of Mars is in Capricorn, where it's exalted, very powerful, and it's forming a harmonious angle to Neptune. Mars is close in conjunction to Pluto. Mars is in Purva Ashadha too, so this gives Pluto a bit of an extra boost, because its brother in arms in ruling Scorpio is there to support and boost and push that energy through. It is saying, here is who you are, here is truly what is your responsibility, which is yourself, and you don't have to be embroiled in this drama anymore, and you don't have to be stuck in this crisis, and you have the realization of your potential, which ultimately is another association of Shatabisha, which is where Neptune is. So Neptune will kind of lead us off into the woods like the fairies, but then it brings us to a deeper self-knowledge, a deeper self-understanding. This energy is supported by the moon in Pisces on that day, these last three aspects. So that is exceptionally powerful. A lot of deepening of awareness on offer to you, a lot of potential, and finally the ability to take a very big step forward in opening that gate and stepping out and truly realizing yourself more deeply in your strength, in your power, and in your essence, and giving you an opportunity to live more fully from that essence. If you'd like to know where these aspects, I should say, are impacting you personally due to your personal astrology, I also offer a vast range of astrological services, which are available through the Astrological Services page on my website, which can be accessed through the link above. I do one-on-one consultations that I generally do over web conference, which enables me to share your chart with you over the computer. We talk and have an in-depth conversation about your chart. It all gets recorded as a video so that you can go back and watch it again. I also do in-depth personalized video reports, which are me talking for about a half hour in regards to your personal astrology, using the same system that allows me to share your chart with you and just recording that, but that's only a monologue, so there's no personal interaction on that level, with the exception of emailing back and forth. In addition to that, I also offer written reports, if you prefer the written word or are able to more closely get your information more powerfully from the written word. That is an option as well. In addition to that, I also want to point out to you that you can subscribe to my YouTube page, and through doing so, you'll receive regular updates whenever there's a weekly video forecast that's posted. I also do new moon and full moon videos. We do monthly video horoscopes, which those will be posted sometime before or on the 1st of November, so those are coming soon. And in addition to that, there is the occasional Vedic astrology class. That's going to do it for your weekly video forecast. Until next week, I do hope that you'll take very good care.